Where to next, my faithful friend? How can I help you? Now comes the part in which you ask me for something, right? I didn't know there'd be so much walking in our journeys. I'm ready to help, but I will ask for something in return. Oh, yes, you. This Mountbatten will always be by your side. I'll put the kettle on. Nothing better than tea and a good book. I've read that one before. Quite the page-turner. I appreciate cynicism. It keeps one sharp. Oh, do you feel that sting? That's the good old British stiff upper lip. Too much despise can make a heart grow cold. Trust me, I worked in the government. How can I be of service to you? Ah, there's nothing like the sting of alcohol pouring down your throat. God, I miss drinking. Now it just goes right through me. I suppose you could call that a joke. I'm afraid not. Sorry, I'll pass. No. You look rather dashing today. Let's put our heads together on this one. Have you given thought to buying your own suit? I know a tailor. The Mountbattens stand ready to assist you. You seem like you were born for the wastes. I suppose I can give you some of my attention. When you're going to talk, talk. Don't just stare at me. You're looking at me. I presume you mean to talk. I don't mean to be a bother, but have you thought of taking a bath? What next in the parade of constant interruptions? I love reading. Pass me that book when you're done, will you? Pass us a nip of that cherry, won't you? No. Stop asking. I won't do such a thing. Please. That's obscene. Oh dear. It seems you've developed a taste for human flesh. How ghastly. I'm all for trying new things, but this takes it to a whole new level. Cannibalism is so last century. Rally forth, my companion, to war. Let us devour their hearts whole. Dear God, must we resort to such savagery? That was quite blunt, but extremely effective. Wow, that was a lot. Let me show you what true pain feels like. This city used to be a nice place. Or maybe we were just blind. And they call me the monster. The depths some will fall to in the name of sin. It can drive one to drink. And go back to where you came from. I do believe your behind belongs to me. Strike that. Reverse it. You're done. The Mountbattens ride again. Let us fight them on the beaches. I didn't know living could be this fun. Unless you want me to break my legs, I'm not going there. How's about some ultra-violence? Corruption surrounds us, Wayfarer. Fortify your soul. Looks like this place was abandoned recently. We were due for a good rapture. Dear me, so dusty. Clearly no one's been here in a long time. Is all of London this empty and decrepit? Another abandoned location. This city could use a proper real estate agent. I must say, you look quite at home amidst all this rubble. Fascinating. I can't go down that way. Look at me. Do you really think I can get there? There? Oh, no thank you. I'm staying here. I can't reach that place. I know my limits. Ah, we're fighting now? No two ways around it. It's fight time. Bother. Let me get my pistol. I've been hankering for another go at it. Let me show you just what I've learned. Remember, aim for the head, 5 rounds rapid. Let's make this quick. On guard! Right into the lion's den. Tremble at the sight of the Mountbattens. Now we fight. Bloated ones. Ugh, sick nasty bugs ahead. Automatons. Shut that mechanical abomination. Oh, slugs! Get that thing away from me. It's that thing! Shoot it! Shoot it in the fur! I don't like the look of that. Retreat! Just make it quick. Let's put this poor thing out of its misery. I hate these handy fiends. This is for stealing a proper person's job. Find their soft innards and shoot them. Do you think those shells taste good? That monster's enormous. I knew there was a reason I hated seafood. Oh God, that thing wants to eat us. Keep that tongue away from me. Rat stags. Nature turned nasty. Rat stag meat is quite tender for those who can taste it. What a horrendous-looking pig. Who would create such an atrocity? What a disgrace to humankind. Whatever that thing is, I don't want to see it. That thing is positively melting. I hope those things on its feet aren't boils. Maybe you should turn it to the right. No, left. You know what? I leave it up to you. Nothing suspicious to see here. Nothing suspicious at all. Why bother locking? Just leave it open, save us the trouble. How many hairpins do you have, and where do you keep finding them? Another brand of robotic thievery. Shut that blasted thing down. Ech, nasty vermins. We must be shrewd about this. Get it? Shrewd? Nothing gets through like a bullet. Fit this through your letterbox. They're all over the damned skies. A swatter. My kingdom for a fly swatter. That thing has far too many teeth. I'd keep a distance if I were you. Another one of those giants is lurking about. Don't let that Gehenna touch you. What have we done to incur nature's wrath? I'd kill for a decent flamethrower right now. Never forget, retreat is a valuable option. Oh no, not that. I am not fighting that. I'm no use when it comes to locks. My hands are far too soft. Locks were made to be broken. I'd say you're doing God's work. It's cold. Gangs away! Tally-ho! Don't worry. Leg's gone out, but I can still walk. Scratch that. I can still limp. Thank goodness my leg's nerves rotted away years ago, or else I'd be wailing in pain. Blast it. Oh, they got my good leg. I literally only have one left. Pull up your trousers. Wet ankles can get you barred in some places. These shoes were not made for aquatic adventures, so let's be quick about this, I have good reason to believe 80% of this is not water. Don't ask how I know. I wish I could say that was surprising, but it was not. Fret not. Failure is the status quo in our world. You tried. I wouldn't have, but no use in lording that above you. Spotted. Back into the fire, I suppose. I was hoping we'd seen the last of that. Didn't we give them a chance to escape? Fish out of water. Ah, luring them in with the carrot, are we? Don't make this too much of a habit. You never know who's trying to use you. A nice reprieve from the usual how do you do. I don't like this place. I don't like it at all. And I'm a walking corpse. Let's not dawdle here. I'm not exactly in the mood for night terrors. I feel as if 3 ghosts are about to teach me the meaning of Christmas. I loathe that. I could have gotten a fair price for that, but I guess donating's just as good. Home economics be damned, eh? Engaging in a little bit of philanthropy, I see. Good for you. Clean, prim, and proper. Now this is much more to my liking. This place is so pristine, you could eat a meal off the floor. God, I didn't know how much I missed thoroughly cleaned walls. Might we stay a few more minutes here? I do enjoy the cleanliness. I've grown quite numb over the centuries, but this place is rattling even my stomach. Ah, fantastic. Another display by Elmir de Gory. Remind me to acquire a dollop of perfume to ward off this dreadful stench. This place is a living monument to depravity. Call me a critic, but I do not enjoy it. Hiya! Hiya! Face the might of the Mountbattens. I have a sneaking sensation that someone's watching us. The ancient Chinese often spoke of a mystical strategy called seeking cover. I think they were onto something. I pray to God that whizzing noise I just heard is a diving bird and not a bullet. Are we waiting for something or for someone to shoot us? I wonder how long it would take for people to ruin this place. I only have a few drops of blood to spare. Can't hold on for much longer. I shan't spill any more of my blood. You go ahead. I'll be right behind you. That is a most agreeable proposition. I had no intention of taking the lead. Not that stupid. But this is a temporary separation, right? All right. I'll wait for you. Try not to get lost, all right? Aye, aye. Understood. I see. Yes, I got it. Thrilling. You have a real bleeding heart for that pup, don't you? That's almost enough to make me cry. I hope you appreciate that, pup. You had them on the palm of your hands. Haggling is perhaps your most impressive skill. This is what the experts call the invisible hand of the free market. This is what the experts call the invisible hand of the free market. I think you could have gotten a few more tickets out of them. You have quite the gift for gab. Have you ever thought about going into politics? Ethically speaking, stealing could be a victimless crime. There's an art to thievery, and you are an artiste. Bravo! They never saw it coming. What have you nicked this time? I'm quite curious. You never cease to astound me with your swiftness. And just when things were feeling fine, something feels strange, and it's not my rotting innards. Not to interrupt your regularly scheduled wandering, but keep an eye out. Gah! Bollocks! You daft git! Ugh! Help! For a moment there, I thought you were my reflection. You may want to take some Radaway. Now, if I'm not mistaken, humans and radiation poisoning don't mix, right? Take it from an expert. You need some Radaway. When it comes to technology, I have one cardinal rule. Don't. You are proof these blasted machines aren't perfect at all. The only good thing about computers is that you can hack and smash them. Ah, good. You're great with computers. I'd rather avoid the things myself. Technically, I have computer skills in my curriculum vitae. I could teach you a few things. I mean this with true sincerity. Have you tried turning it off and on again? I'd wager your speed is the result of all that junk you're carrying, but I'm not a mathematician. Have you considered emptying those massive pockets of yours? Do we really need to carry all of that? And by we, I mean you. Hello? Are you still there? Don't tell me your brain is rotting away as well. Of course. Take your time. No need to ask me to wait. I enjoy silence as much as the next person, but this is quite awkward. I told you before, ghouls aren't telepathic. Is this some newfangled, hard-to-understand youth thing? You're making me have to come up with something to say. I too enjoy your presence, but not so much this silence. Are my eyes playing a trick on me, or is my arm bent out of shape? Good God! I can't feel my arm. I'd forgotten what a broken arm felt like. Verdict: it hurts. Yes? Mm-hmm. Allow me to assist you. Let's converse then. Do you require something? What is it you need? All right, we can do that. I see no problem with that. Now here's a place worthy of being called home. Is this merely a pit stop, or are we settling down for once? Want to rest up for a while? Seems appropriate. Oh, what do you want now? I suppose it's my turn to suffer your presence. I won't put up pleasantries for someone like you. There they are, the monster of the wastes. Be quick about it. I don't like the sound of your voice. Good timing, my friend. How can I help? I must say, following you was the best choice I made. Ah, another query. These are my favorite part of the day. Oh, 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 ah, ah, yeah, ah, yeah, yeah. Oh. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Let's move on. 1 minute they're here, next they're gone. Who's going to tell the family? Call me when you're done playing with your toys. If you're making something for me, I'm a size 42. Yes. I suppose that's interesting. Cover your eyes. Blasted old son. Have you tried knocking first? Break in first, ask questions later. I like that. If there's anyone on the other side, you take them. What now? One must always look out for themselves first. Perhaps not that shrewdly, though. Step aside. We must venture forward in our journey. I'd just leave that rubbish behind if I were you. I know you pride yourself in over-encumbrance, but that is proper rubbish. I think all of this noise made one of my eardrums pop. I've seen one of those before. Oh, the memories. Your canine friend is wheezing. I'd address that if I were you. Now, I may not be a veterinarian, but even I know that pup needs help. If the dog dies, we are not getting another one. We Mountbattens pride ourselves in fair trade. I'm not a pack mule. You know that, right? What do you have for me? Let me have some of my dear belongings at least. Fine. Show me your wares. Don't insist. Even I have ethical boundaries. We ghouls have morals too, you know. Sorry, but such a task is out of my purview. Please, don't make me do such a foul deed. That was impressive. Gone in the blink of an eye. How long do you think until they notice what you've done? You haven't stolen from me, have you? Just wondering. There certainly must be better hobbies than this. Dare I say it's quiet. Too quiet. No, I'll let someone else do it. The silence here is so thick, I could cut it with a knife. All this silence is making me think things. Things I'd rather not. Do you hear that noise? Oh, no, that was me. Sorry. Done already? But I was just getting warmed up. My old bones can't handle too much of this. Literally, I could feel them rattling. Some blood got on my suit. I'll need a moment. You did very well there, my friend. I do believe I've lost track of up and down. I need to get my ears checked. Again? Alas, there'll be no fighting today. No need for weapons anymore. Anything to avoid needless combat. Well, at least if you get defeated, you'll look fabulous doing it. Better such a thing is in your hands than others, A few proper whacks with a hammer could make you quite the tank. Oh well, nothing gained, nothing lost. Stop, don't, come back. Goodness gracious, my eyeballs popped out. Golly, I forgot what pain felt like. If my lungs still worked, I'd be wheezing. Rotten bastards, driving me to death. You don't get to look like me without losing a few pounds, a few organs, a few nerves, a few everything. Hold on a moment. Where did you go? If you're trying to escape, jolly good try. Perhaps this is a sign to sheathe our swords. I'd say we cut our losses and go. I think my brain is leaking from my head. Stop for a moment. I'm seeing double, triple, quadruple. Oh, God, my head. Have you ever seen a ghoul vomit from a head injury? Well, prepare yourself. I just heard a noise. A very bad noise. I hope I'm wrong, but I believe we're being watched. Ah! 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 Yeah! Rah! What the? Hey. What? Huh? Jolly good. A grenade. This is a better end, I do believe. I suppose it's too late to throw that back. Celebrate, of course, but don't get used to happy endings. Peaceful victories are far and few in today's world. Cherish this one. Peace in our time. By the way, I'm aware of the irony behind that saying, so don't bother pointing that out. That, my friend, is the difference between a few bullets and a load of bullets. Did you think that's a bit overkill? Ha! Now surely everyone will think twice before attacking us. I think there's a hole in your pocket because we might need that. If you don't want that, I'll take it. It could be worth something. It looks like you dropped something valuable, along with your sanity. A pair of shades would do well in a place like this. If my retinas hadn't rotted off, I'd surely be shielding them now. Fascinating. I didn't take you for someone with such deep pockets. A wise investment. We must speak more of your philanthropic endeavors. I, too, believe in passing it on. But do make sure to get a tariff-deductible receipt, won't you? What else do you seek? Will that be all? Of course. So be it. If we could possibly avoid dabbling in H2O, I'd be very thankful. I hope you're happy. This suit is dry clean only. Ah, I'm wet. I'm hysterical and I'm wet. Check the breast pockets. It's where I keep my valuables. Do they have good socks? I'm dying for a better pair. Good God, what are you doing? Oh, sorry, I can't even mock outrage. Steal away. You're quite good at this. How many corpses have you looted before? As a member of the corpse minority, I see no problem with this. Classy. Very classy. I couldn't have made a better choice. Always protect your interests. Ah, what a delightful surprise. I believe that rarity belongs to us now, doesn't it? As the commoners say, finders keepers. I can find a rubbish bin for you to throw that in if you'd like. Did you say something? Speak up, won't you? I could feel my innards rattling with all that noise. Oh, will you shut up? Not you, them. There they are. Drat, can't avoid this fight. I knew it. We're being attacked. No use in dawdling. Time for battle. I'll take the rear, you take the rest. Look at this. The epitome of quality. What wonders to behold. Think of all the tickets spent in this place. The wars alone must have cost more than my suit. Stay away from any big red buttons. We don't want to cause another nuclear apocalypse. Impressive technology. It's a shame we were always one button away from reverting to the Dark Ages. It's as if we've stepped into a painting, except it smells a bit off. Have you ever pondered the meaning of true beauty? Me neither. I don't understand how a place like this has managed to survive. This place is rancid, and I don't have a nose anymore. Think about that. And to think there are stenches so dreadful even ghouls can smell them. What is that dreadful stench, and how can we put an end to it? Do you suppose living here desensitizes you to good taste? That thing takes me back to the old times, the good times. As an authority in the matter, let me be the first to say that belongs in a museum. You know the world's going down in flames when the cleaning crew refuse to show up. Careful now. You wouldn't want to make a mess. I believe I just saw a massive cobweb. I would like to leave now. Don't wave those dirty needles near me. Are you still capable of operating under the influence? A little pick-me-up, I see. I'll endure it. Just so you know, this suit has very little pockets. Have you found something valuable? Keep your mitts away from my hat, thank you. You haven't gone off your trolley, have you? Don't be angry, but I'm not interested in tiptoeing through the tulips avec toi. God, please put on some clothes. I'll buy you some if you need me to. Give us a warning next time, won't you? Was that on accident? Please say yes. I'm not in the mood for a fight. Yes. Be a darling, and please turn on that little notch mark safety for me. I'd pop on that torch of yours if I were you. Things are bound to go bump around here. I believe I just stepped on something slimy. Let's not linger on that subject. Should I be worried about how a part of me finds this darkness homely? Watch your step in here. Not literally, since you can't see anything. I'm afraid I cannot do that. The impregnable nature of this place is worth discussing. Maybe another time. This place is perfect for a brief respite, and we all need our beauty sleep. One can't help but look at this place and wonder, could it be even more fortified? I suggest we take the long path around, unless we want to bang our heads against those fortifications. I don't believe in moral failures, but this might perhaps be an exception. We each have our distractions. Yours just so happen to be quite deadly. Have at thee. Face thy end. The Reaper strikes. Behold your doom. Now this place is due for a proper dusting. Hold your breath. You don't want all this dust infecting your lungs now, do you? Do you happen to have a brush? My suit is covered in dust. Are you still alive? Oh, you are? Thank God. I once stepped on a dog's tail. Granted, it was nothing like this, but I wanted to show some empathy. Next time, let's avoid the blinking and beeping, Another successful violent interaction. Injury check. Anyone hurt? No? Just me? Remind me to aim better next time. Out of every altercation I've had in my life, that was the most terrifying. I'm not quite used to emerging victorious from things. Do you suppose people do this for fun? Blasted be whoever's doing this to us. Maybe we should take this as a chance to escape. Whoever's hiding from us, stay there. I'd never get this confused back in Westminster. Thank God, it's a false alarm. You're just delaying the inevitable. But thank you. I truly appreciate your assistance. You wouldn't happen to have a few extra bandages, would you? I'm glad to see common sense still exists in the wastes. Oh, no. Anyway, no, je ne regrette rien. Bugger! Right in the arm. Did I have that gaping hole in my arm before? Spot of bad luck this is. How thrilling. I can't feel my legs. I believe that crunching noise is my broken foot. I need a stim pack, unless you want to see me shamble. God, that barely missed my brain. What? Is that a new hole in my head? Unless you want to look like me, I'd suggest moving along. Nothing like Mother Atom's warm glow. This place is doing wonders for my skin. Yours, not so much. Radiation. Nostalgic. You do know radiation is poisonous to humans, right? Marco! No polo. No thank you. My legs are quite brittle. I, for one, quite prefer the safety of the land, thank you very much. Of course you survived that. Why am I even surprised? With a payday like that, drinks are surely on you. Fantastic. That's worth a celebration. Are you sure we can't get a few more tickets for a job well done? Good work. Now, we celebrate. You'll be sharing that with your collaborators, won't you? Gah! Huh? Huh? Who's there? Our world is filled with wonders and terrors. It helps to have someone who can help you properly react to them. That is something I'd be happy to share with you, once I am no longer hanging upside down like an animal. No offense to bats, sloths, and monkeys, of course. The Wayfarer. Quite the exquisite name. But I am not in a position to judge. You see, I am a tithe collector for the government in Westminster. It is a title and a position that was foisted upon me against my will. I was tasked with telling the Roundels that their tax had been retroactively increased by 5%, and that they were to promptly pay me the difference. Unfortunately, my visible distaste for the work and my repeated pleas for empathy didn't stop the Roundels from stringing me up on their side. Wait! Don't go! I can't go back to Westminster and face the gentry's mockery, and I certainly don't want to fight against the Roundels. Oh my! Yes! Yes! Up here! Are you going to help me down? It's quite hard for me to remember. Must be all the blood flowing down to the top of my head. On account of me, you know, hanging upside down. How odd. Did you pick that one yourself? Oh, apologies. I shouldn't be so judgmental towards such a helpful soul. A sentiment I agree with. I might even say it was purposely unfair. But that is not a matter for us to focus on. Onwards and forwards, my friend. Capital. Wonderful. Wonderful. Simply untangle my foot, and I shall gracefully drop to the floor below. Just let me count down first. On one, three, two, one. That is a tale as old as time, or rather as old as a few days ago. If anything, I believe that this encounter is a sign that I should leave behind all this talk of taxes and accompany you through the wastes. What do you say? We could be quite the pair. Ah, but I see that you already have a companion. Pardon me, but I have no desire to fight for your attention. If you ever find yourself in need of an additional, I'll be here. Of course. Such is my luck. If you ever decide to have a heart, I'll be here, as I have been for the past few days. I just told you. I'm Arthur Mountbatten, though I presume you're more curious as to why I was hanging off that sign. I'm quite skilled at data entry, archiving, organizing. Oh, you mean what can I do in terms of defending myself? Well, I do have my trusty Webley. It has been in the family for decades, never missed. Of course, I rarely fire it. As far as holidays go, that was not to my liking. I don't see myself hanging from another sign any time soon. A pleasure to meet you. I am Arthur Mountbatten. And what do I call my one and only savior? Now, I assume you must be curious as to why you found me in such a quaint predicament as this one. I see. If you ever do change your mind, I'll be here, silently contemplating what to do with the rest of my life. Excuse me, won't you please help me get down? And face the disgrace of further failure? Please. I have no interest in discovering what lies at the bottom of this particular barrel. I hold no grudges. Besides, in the grand book of life, this little trick is nothing more than a passing moment. Indeed, I do not have time for revenge. I'd rather avoid another go at the roundels, if possible. God knows what other things they'd hang me by. Peeking behind the curtain is strangely anticlimactic. I absolutely adore the smell of properly prepared alcohol. There's an art behind making the perfect brew. I haven't mastered it yet, but perhaps one day. Have you ever spiked your tea with alcohol? Wonderful mid-afternoon treat. Let's stop for a moment and imbibe upon the fruit of the hop. I have yet to meet a problem that couldn't be solved through strategic consumption of alcohol. Why the devil are we here in Earth's bowels? Call me ignorant, but I don't want to know the secrets of the universe. To see how that proverbial sausage gets made, it really makes you think, but hopefully not too much. They built one of these near my childhood home. I don't remember what happened to it. Oh, right, the bombs. I miss the time when things used to be handmade. Some call places like this the price of progress. I call them factories, because that's what they are. I'm not sure these people can help me, as much as they might try. Hospitals give me a reason to hope. Their tenants give me a reason not to. Whoever made these things clearly didn't learn from the bomb's lessons. Many years were spent in these hallowed halls, waiting for the cursed late train. There used to be an announcer here. Oh, she had the most soothing voice. I don't take trains anymore. Most people mistake me for a... well, you know. There's nothing quite like the order and manners you learn in the army. Look around. The future of Britain surrounds us. I used to be quite the rebel. Then I spent a week in a training camp. It was revelatory. Why would you make such ugly creatures? Don't we have enough ugly things? All this place is missing is a bench and some proper spots of grass. Remind me to talk to you about my park beautification projects. Every person deserves a chance to freely traipse through the grass. Smell that fresh air? Oh no, that's the smell of a dead body. I used to fall asleep under the tree shades. This was back when I was young and stupid. It's a wonder they haven't shut this whole place down. These clones are the natural endpoint of humanity. What a sad little tale. Too many people clumped up together fighting for space. Oh, if only you could see it. You'd gouge your eyes out. I think that place used to be a pie shop. I can tell by the lack of proper hygiene. Why not burn this place down and start anew? What do we gain by leaving these ruins behind? I think I saw a rodent of unusual size. Let's keep moving. Life does indeed find a way, even amidst the wastes. I think that person just pushed me. He did. What a buffoon. I've always dreamt of being on a plane. By the time we could afford it, they were all gone. A man could go quite mad making their way through this maze. How were you at school, Wayfarer? Can't imagine you were a high flyer. I remember my old teacher, Miss Wayne. She was quite fierce. Hope the bombs got to her. You know, I could have been a teacher. I almost did it. Decided I'd rather earn a decent salary instead. The sea does not agree with me. Not in the slightest. This thing makes me want to burst into a sea shanty. Alas, I know none. Do you think there's still a world outside of England? Before the bomb, there was only one shop per corner, and we liked it that way. Oh, why are we here again? Couldn't we just stick above ground? I hope whoever excavated this maze is rotting in the deepest recesses of hell. Do you have a torch? I could use a torch. Or several. I feel as if the number of underground tunnels exploded after the bomb. Wonder why. After the bombs fell, some suggested we build underground cities. We called them comedians. Wonderful things, these planes. Lords of the sky. Back then, they used to build 2 of these a week. Is it really that surprising we blew up the world? Why is it there are so many pointlessly empty locations in this town? I once accidentally put in an order to fill one of our warehouses with flammable barrels. Blamed it on my deskmate Gordon. Don't worry, he deserved it. By the sea, my friend, it's the life I covet. I appreciate the sea, from afar, like a good painting, or a train, or something else that's far away. You can practically smell the radiation from here. I have a vague memory of a plane commercial on the radio. Something about, living large in mid-air. You have all the qualities of a leader in the making. This is turning out to be the best choice I've ever made. Whatever's ahead of us, I think I'll stay by your side. How have you managed to stay so pure in your travels through the wastes? I'll tell you what, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but you do. This is the longest I've gone without being harassed or mangled. This place looks more like a graveyard than the actual graveyard. I do miss the gentle pleasures of the gentry, the hot showers most of all. Don't you get tired of all this walking about? Second thoughts come swarming in whenever I look at you. I had higher hopes for you. I still do, frankly. The fool within me wishes you'd mend your ways. The wise man within me knows you won't. There's still time for all of us. Think on that, won't you? Have you ever heard a story set in a cave that has a happy ending? Precisely my point.
Ugh, I just touched the walls. Big mistake.
Oh yes, let's march deeper into the scary cave. It's a wonder we're still alive.
I just saw something there. Oh, it was...
It was just my shadow. There's a reason society left behind nature. Sleeping beneath the stars. I loathe it. I'd take 100 populated townships over whatever this is. Part of me admires the tenacity of this encampment. Another part remembers I loathe insects. Nature has evolved to devour us whole. So tell me, why are we here? Used to be that a factory job was something to be proud of. First, do no harm. Second, do no chems as well. Before I was this, I had never stepped into a hospital. So much for my perfect record. Weren't hospitals supposed to be startlingly clean? Careful now. Who knows what terrors lie within these scientific tools? I once tried my hand at a chemical kit. Gave myself nasty burns. Can you spot them? Why is everyone here looking at me with bated breath? A place born out of miracles. From molecules, that is. Is this where they produce those cursed pop drinks? I remember this panhandler at Paddington Station. Wonderful chap, great singer. Nothing like the sound of trembling trains traversing through tunnels. The military can teach you 1,000 survival techniques, but none as important as obeying your superiors. I'd say every boy and girl could use a week or two writhing under the thumb of a commanding officer. What a wonderful statue, a mark of those who came before us. If I ever posed for a statue, I'd want them to get my good side. If there is still one. You would make a good statue. There's something positively Herculean about your physique. Being in a place like this brings back memories, which I shall promptly bury deep within my mind. This place has copy paper? Huh. My desk never had copy paper. Never underestimate the power of office chatter. Many lives were destroyed by gossip. There's nothing like the pitter-patter of typists and clerks. This office reminds me of my own. All it's missing is an inadequate amount of refreshments and a lack of lifts. I've seen the numbers behind this atrocity. Trust me, they're not encouraging. A permanent stain upon Mother Earth's humble visage. It's as if we're walking upon a boil on Mother Earth's hairy back. What? Too nasty? Once again, I thank God I am unable to smell this place. Do you think people used to live here? And where did they go? This place is positively nostalgic. I can hear the children playing. Their parents yelling at them to stop playing in the middle of the street. I quite like how similar each house looks. Makes it easy to conform. Nothing like taking care of your yard and looking over the neighbor's fence, I prefer a cottage in the countryside, but this is pretty damn good. I say, I can't tell the difference between the city and the ruins. I could spend hours here, if not for the rotting skin. No, thank you, I do not want to buy whatever that is. Someone just asked me, where's the nearest loo? They should just piss in the street like everyone else in this godforsaken place. Back home to where it all began. Well, for me at least. Westminster is a beautiful place. The people are the problem with it. I say, the gentry wouldn't know proper urbanization techniques if it challenged them to an old-fashioned duel. I lost a bowler hat in that alley once. Poor Nathan. You will not be forgotten. If you want meal recommendations, I know a Mittenlurk egg dish that is divine. Piles upon piles of trash. Just, piling on top of each other. Think of all the rarities you could find here, and then stop thinking about them. What's the point of ships if most of the sea has turned into radioactive soup? Do you think we could sail across the world in one of these? Or would we die 3 hours in? If you're like me, you'd do well not to look down from up above. Not a fan of heights. Human beings were not meant to be that high. Think of all those interminable flights of stairs. Up for an exercise, friend? I used to dream of a penthouse office. Then I remembered my office had no lift. This place must have cost a fortune. The window cleaners alone. Window shopping now, are we? I know a much better store in Westminster. Oh, but they only accept checks. Oh, now that looks like a good trinket. A proper trinket. I'd rather die than live without electricity, thank you very much. Even ghouls need running water. The stomach is the last thing to rot away, unfortunately. One tiny click, and an entire borough goes without water. Oh, what power. My parents spent a summer without electricity once. That was 9 months before I was born. What a strange coincidence. This is akin to London's Ark, isn't it? Pindar was an ancient Greek writer known for drinking wine and writing inane poems, I presume. Pindar. What a fascinating word. Pindar. 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 I could use a place like this to call my own. Put an armchair there. A fireplace there. Ever since I turned into this, abandoned places don't scare me. I find them oddly alluring, actually. Think of all the broken dreams and pointless hopes you could put in this place. Anyone who chooses to swim in that river is proof of the existence of natural selection. I love the way you stand tall and face the future head-on. Onwards. There's something particularly shiny about you today. Food for thought. Have you ever considered becoming an honorary lord? I could make it happen. Have you ever considered becoming an honorary lady? I could make it happen. You're positively the best thing about this view, my friend. Don't let your troubles ail you. We'll face them together. Your attitude is befitting of a suit. Let me take you to my tailor. Shall we adjourn for a luncheon later? I can't believe how glad I am the Roundel strung me up to meet you. Another successful day, another successful night. Don't you get tired of victory. There's a chill about in the air. I like it. There once was a man from Dover who quite liked to... I forgot the rest. I presume you're thinking what I'm thinking? Twice now we've passed that bush. Or am I imagining things? Ponder the mysteries of the universe long enough, and they'll ponder back at you. If there's one thing I've learned in my many years, it's the importance of trade secrets. Look around you. There's very little left, and yet we remain. I've lived enough years to know this world will never run out of surprises. That facade there, it used to be periwinkle. I'm sure of it. I am not in the mood to suffer fools gladly. So beware. There's something strange about you. Something I hadn't seen before. I'm starting to see you, the real you, and I do not like it. One of these days you'll be the death of me. Of all of us. Proper manners befit us all. Even you. Even you must wonder now and then if you're going down the right path, I wish I would have rotted away under that sign. Ugh. If I still had a gag reflex, I'd retch at your sight. What's the point? You're not going to listen to me anyway. Don't bother me. You are a spot upon humanity's heart. How could I ever let myself believe in you? You make me want to believe in karmic wrath. I have nothing to say to the likes of you. Your despicable nature hides an even colder heart. Words cannot describe how much I've come to hate you. Ha! Good. Very good point indeed. You're right. I should be more grateful. Oh, what do you want now? I suppose it's my turn to suffer your presence. I won't put up pleasantries for someone like you. There they are, the monster of the wastes. I didn't know there'd be so much walking in our journeys. I'm ready to help, but I will ask for something in return. You seem like you were born for the wastes. How can I be of service to you? You look rather dashing today. I'm realizing just how well a vicious grin fits upon your lips. I'm wondering why I ignored all the warning signs. I'm thinking about how ignorance of one's true self is pure bliss. I'm asking myself if I'm no longer capable of seeing the good in others. I'm pondering an exit strategy for my own purposes. Me? I'm talking about me. You're not serious, are you? Please, tell me you're joking. You're serious? I have to say, I'm quite grateful for your peculiar curiosity. I wouldn't recommend it, unless you enjoy your meals with a side dish of lethal radiation poisoning. That's a surprisingly astute and honest answer for someone like you. I empathize. Loneliness can be quite the crippling disease. That'd make two of us, two lonely candles raging against the vicious winds of society. You can tell me to back off at any time, and you haven't. I know people like you. I understand how your mind works. Call it personal experience. Is that it? Oh. Forgive me for being shocked that someone would be so straightforward. Be quick about it. I don't like the sound of your voice. Oh, yes. You. I suppose I can give you some of my attention. When you're going to talk, talk. Don't just stare at me. I don't mean to be a bother, but have you thought of taking a bath? What next in the parade of constant interruptions? How can I help you? Now comes the part in which you ask me for something, right? Let's put our heads together on this one. Have you given thought to buying your own suit? I know a tailor. The Mountbattens stand ready to assist you. Good timing, my friend. How can I help? I must say, following you was the best choice I made. Another query. These are my favorite part of the day. Where to next, my faithful friend? This Mountbatten will always be by your side.
I'm losing my mind. Within a few years' time, I will become nothing more than another blind, snarling commuter. But there is nothing I can do about it.
It was immensely gratifying to see my money put to some good use after years of selfish expenditure. I never expected you'd join in on my philanthropic endeavors, but of course, why should I expect any different from my great friend? That well isn't just a symbol of hope, my friend. It's an enduring monument to our partnership and what happens when great minds work together.
I can't believe it. Is this true? New Chapel Cemetery. That's...
Judging by the look in your eyes, it seems like you want us to depart. Raring for another go, Steady on for a moment. I believe we need to talk about what just happened.
Do you know how much you confuse me? My confusion hasn't diminished.
I'm sorry. I just can't get this one thought off my head. The thought persists, despite my valiant efforts to ignore it. I need to warn you about something. Time is of the essence. Can we talk? My friend, I think I found the answer. Do you have time to hear my answer now? We need to talk, and attention must be paid. Will you listen to me now? I wish it didn't have to come to this. Is something the matter with you? My question remains. Is something the matter with you? You've changed. You're still different. I thought we were past this. How are we back here yet again? I don't know what's worse, the fact you lied to me about changing, or the fact I believed you. You are a true success story, you know that? Your compliments are still waiting to be delivered, my friend. I'm tempted to buy you a gift. I won't tell you what. It'll be a surprise. I'm disengaging my cynicism, for once. I'm finding myself quite fond of staring at the back of your head. I'm thinking about writing my memoirs, just so I can remember it all. I see that now. God, it was good while it lasted. It really was. I thought I had finally found a true friend. But now, for my sake, for the sake of the future, for your own sake, yes, I do. I have. You gave me a safe place to live. It took all of my strength to overpower my selfishness and stand against your monstrous nature. How do you expect me to believe that? I'm realizing you seem like the kind of person who enjoys the theater. That's a compliment. I'm saddened I haven't shown just how much I appreciate your companionship. I'm tempted to sleep with no eyes open, for the first time in years. I'm reminded of my first childhood friend and the joys we shared. I'm faced with a future finally worth living for. Here we are, our final stop in this little farewell tour. Graham was a former co-worker of mine. He quit some years before me, citing a growing disillusionment with local government. I kept in contact with him because he was a nice chap, and believe me, those are quite rare nowadays. Did you know that there's a huge percent of population without easy access to clean, potable water. That's why we're building a well. As for Brickton, well, you can't get much poorer than them, right?
You did? Oh, I'm flattered. I truly am. And if I was a few hundred years younger, who knows? But I'm not exactly in a position to engage with that kind of thinking, so it might be best if you were to shelve it, for your own good.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Truly. From the bottom of my heart.
Of course. I wouldn't want to impose upon my friend.
What is the point of such needless cruelty? I open myself up to you, and all you can do is insult me. I hope you can one day feel the suffering you have inflicted upon me, you bastard. Right. Well, let's hypothetically say you did just murder someone. All right. I suppose I can give you that. One emotional conversation. Should be quite simple. I'm a good talker. You know what? I'll get back to you on that one. Someday. I'll put it on my brand new to-do list, Then let's appreciate the finality that comes with silence. I'm calmed by your steadfast presence and kind nature. Why are we here? I can't believe we're here. God, that was... that was quite an experience. Finally, onwards and forwards. Back to the long and winding road. Well then, I shall resume my waiting. Just came to check in on me, How adorable. I believe you, and I am willing to testify in a court of law. That is not the reason I stopped you, see? You're welcome.
Brevity is the soul of wit. Not sure if that fully applies to my context, but it's a damn good quote and I want to use it.
I have stood idly by whilst you continued to peddle your putrid brand of hatred, and I can't take it anymore. All this time, I told myself there had to be some good in you, because you rescued me. I was being blind and hopelessly selfish.
I understand. I really do.
Oh, on the absolute contrary, I have no qualms regarding murder. Left that behind a few hundred years ago. There's nothing to forgive, really. I hold no ill will towards you if you think it's fun to blast people to death. I can't tell you what to do. This is your life, and you must reap the consequences of your actions. Goodbye. The time for trying is long past, my friend. I can't trust you anymore. What's done is done. Goodbye. All right. It seems as if you're remorseful, but only time will tell if you're speaking the truth. You're right. That was the reason why I waited so long to speak up. That could be the reason why you can change. Oh, is that so? Well, do take care. Hopefully we'll see each other again. And, thank you. Yes. I understand. But if you change your mind, as one is wont to do, you know where to find me. I won't judge. I thought so. It's been agreeable, and best of luck on your future endeavors. This is for the best. After all, something happened to you. You've changed, and I'm not ready to find out just how much. If some part of you understands that, you know where to find me. Makes sense. You were made to be a lone wayfarer. Goodbye. Haven't played a game since you left, Graham. None can compare to you. Alas, that I cannot convince you otherwise, my dear. I can certainly try, though you do wear those boxing gloves quite well. Nice try, but that routine won't work on me, Archie. I wasn't born yesterday. Message received. Twat. Mother. Father. Can you hear me? I hope you can. I'm sorry I couldn't find you. My brain, it's... never mind. Don't worry about me. I have friends. Proper friends. The likes of which I should have been searching for all my life, instead of working. Yes, that's it. That's my mother's locket. It looks exactly the same as the day I sold it. Thank you, my friend. If we were to stop right here and forget the rest of my list, I'd still be eternally grateful for what you've done. Well, I definitely don't have that amount on me. Haven't had anything like that in years. What are we going to do? Yes, how did you know? Never mind. Sorry, that was actually funny, which makes this next part extremely awkward. We can't delay this for too long, but if you really want me to wait, I'll wait. As they say, knock them dead, Jack. I want to buy a fancy bottle of Sipperson gin at my favourite pub in Westminster. You have to understand, my list was all about rewarding myself for finally obtaining the promotion I had worked so hard for. It's not about life-changing choices, but rather life-affirming moments. Hence the simplicity of it. Makes sense, doesn't it? Very well. I eagerly await further updates. Let us depart then. On to Sipperson's. A long time ago, when I was starting my job as a data entry clerk, I sold a family locket handed down to me by my mother. I wrote down the name of the man whom I sold it to, because I knew I wanted to buy it back the instant I was financially stable. That's what we're going to do. Buy back my family locket. The man's name was Drood. I always fancied myself a bit of a philanthropist. Giving back is perhaps one of the most important things a man can do with their time on Earth. And ever since I heard about the Tommy expansion in Brickton, in the papers, I knew there was one thing I wanted to do. I want to build a water well for the people of Brickton. As a Westminster resident, I feel partially responsible for the contamination in the area. I need you to help me find my parents' burial place. I don't remember where it is anymore. I don't remember if I ever knew. But not a day goes by where I don't ponder about it, especially as I have begun to forget almost everything I knew about them. Do keep in mind we might dabble in some trespassing. It'd be wise to keep our wits about us. I know you did. Don't mistake my light mockery for disdain or disappointment. I know how hard life can be, and I appreciate what you have done. After all, you've given me some beautiful memories. After all, that's what we are. Memories. So let's make some great ones.
together.
Of course you say that. I feel as if you are capable of accomplishing anything you set your mind to, no matter how impossible. Speaking of, what makes you say that? Is it because we're watching the sun set whilst having a seemingly final conversation? Oh, no. That was not my intention. Grateful, satisfied, and so much more. There's so much to see and to talk about as well. Well, about that. I say, you're heading out with John, huh? Hope you know what you're getting into. Serves me right for waiting all that time, then. Oh well. Thank you for your efforts, anyway.
This is quite uncomfortable. Please, won't you assist me? Yes, you're not hearing voices. Yes, I am asking you for your help.
I've been alive long enough to know we must cherish simple moments like this. There's that well-known London weather, always changing. The sun is far too bright. Might we seek some cover? I've never seen the sun shine so bright. How odd. Ah, feel that daytime breeze. A day like this was made to be enjoyed. Even dark clouds have their beauty. I enjoy cloudy days like this one. Always keeps me on my toes. Cloudy, but not too warm. A perfect day. I can't see past my damned nose. Can you see where we're walking? Days like these were made to stay indoors. Ah, the rain. May we stop and get an umbrella first? God, how I despise the rain. I can barely hear myself with all that rain. My suit is positively drenched. Do you know what rain feels like on rotting skin? Not good. We might seek some cover. Storm is on its way. Umbrellas be damned! Batten down the hatches! I could use some tea, a warm fire, and a decent roof. Only the rain could ruin such a day as this one. Have you ever seen a talking dog? Neither have I. Nights such as these make the mind wander. Don't stray too far. Oh, shall we tuck in for the night? Of course the wind would come along and make it all so cold. Must we be outdoors during such a blustery day? Are those clouds up in the sky, or is my mind wandering away? Do you feel that warmth? Ooh, it's oddly soothing. I remember. There's an airport near here. Yes, I used to watch the planes go. And to think this used to be more than Atom's home. There truly is no place like London. There used to be a flower shop near here. Of course, no more flowers now. This place is brimming with opportunity for those smart enough to see it. Have you ever thought about the people living here? Oh, those poor souls. There's something inherently silly about London. Perhaps that's why I like it. I think someone just yelled at me. I wish I understood their accent. The best place to be in London is the nearest pub, and nowhere else. Only us Londoners can prattle on about this town. The rest should shut up. London will never stop finding ways to both surprise and disappoint me. Sometimes simultaneously. I have a London joke. A sailor, a clergyman, and a street urchin walk into the pub. Oh, wait. I forgot the punchline. I don't have time for grown men dressing up in chainmail and helmets. These people know the real Camelot had no proper plumbing, right? Camelot strikes me as the perfect home. If you're missing a proper set of brains, any accurate recreation of ye olde England would require at least 100 preventable deaths a day. If you want to dress up and get called names,
I know a pup that's perfect for you.
Oh, didn't we kick these people's behinds 300 years ago? History repeats itself, first as tragedy, second as a farce, and third as whatever this is. This place gives a bad name to the act of wearing black. In between the trigger-happy fascists and the idiotic knights, I prefer not to choose. I'm not exactly sure these people like me. Luckily, the feeling's mutual. I despise anything with that many eyes and that much fur. When it comes to insects, I believe in giving them their space, far away from me. I once found my back covered in leeches. Poor buggers starved to death. Get those crawling things away from me. I'd rather not talk about those things now. If you must attack, do it quickly. They were people, once. I don't like the term commuters. No one should be cursed to a life in public transportation. Let's just get through this as fast as possible. No comments. I can't help but love our society's underdogs. Anyone seeking freedom has my support. My hypothetical support. Couldn't these people find better names? Vagabonds? Isle of Dogs? What is this, a pet shop? The gentry love the dogs so much, it almost makes you wonder if they could survive without them. Silly hats and pointless posturing aside, the vagabonds seem like the gentler choice. My favorite restaurant makes some delightful poached mittenlurk eggs. I wish I could have something positive to say about mittenlurks, but alas, they make it so hard. I have managed to avoid mittenlurks most of my life. My secret? I'm not a moron. The mittenlurks have kings, we have queens. We're not so different. No, wait, we are. I'd avoid the hard shell, and the clawing bits. I'd just avoid the whole thing if I were you. Piggy-looking freaks. My favorite chef tried to convince me to try a pig rat dish. Had to find another restaurant immediately. Now there's a face only a similarly ugly mother could love. I have seen the pig rat mating period.
I can never forget those sights.
Scoot, scatter, freaks! There it is, the corrupting scour of London. Hooligans are the product of an ailing society, their lack of parental figures, and the dearth of corporal punishment. Ah yes, because the thing we were missing was awful graffiti all over the damned walls. Oh, you all hate the government? Wow, what an original thought. Surely you must be the first ones to do so. These people hate us. But what's the alternative? Wandering aimlessly with brightly coloured hair? Damned robots. The product of rampant human greed. The only thing a robot is good for is scrap metal. These things replace good, hard-working data entry clerks, and I'm supposed to like them? I don't approve of the way that robot's looking at me. I'd rather live in a world with the Tommies than one without them. Now here stands something Britain can be proud of. I made friends with some Tommies once. Wonder if they're still here. Without the Tommies, we might as well become some lawless waste. Or worse, America. I hope you can find the power within you to change, because I would rather avoid putting a premature end to our partnership. Ma? Da? I'm forgetting. One day, I'll forget who I am. But it's all right. Because I found a friend. Someone to make new memories with. It's been a long time since I've stepped foot in these hallowed halls. Look around. This isn't far from where we met. to that sign I was hanging from. And here they are, Mildred and Frederick. Yes, I remember. My father's friends called him Freddy. I remember that now.
I never thought I'd remember.
That was it. The last item on the list. It's all finished. But there is one last thing I want to do with you. Still, that doesn't solve my confusion. You don't really know me, my past. I might be a monster. On the inside, that is. Let me rectify that, please. Show me you can change. Show me your words mean something. Show me the person you used to be. That is all. I don't enjoy talking about this with you. I hope this is the last time we do it. But I'm seriously running out of hope. You don't need to prove me anything. Although, how about a game? Answer me one question, and I'll give you another reward. I went to work, all shaken up. I accidentally made a few typographic errors. Missing apostrophe here, dangling participle there. It was enough for my boss to berate me in front of the entire office. Call me a dunce, a waste. I looked up at this man, who I had worked under for decades. This man who had never thanked me, never seen me as anything other than a name on a spreadsheet, and I realized I'd die before him. So I did what I had to do, and I punched him. It felt so good to give in to my rage after years of apologizing and begging for his forgiveness. But by the time I realized what I was doing, the damage was done. And that's how we find ourselves here, at these crossroads. Let's head to the Hackney Town Hall. Perhaps they have a records room we can peruse. No, not yet, but I can feel it. This has been my burden to bear. And it wasn't until I met you that I realized I had a responsibility to share it. Shall we get a move on? No. I mean, yes. It's part of it. A very small, yet simultaneously very large part of it. That question I posed myself after we completed my list. What now? And the answer is, we have all the time in the world. I'll ask again later. Yes, let's. Right behind you. Because you've changed. Before, I thought you were merely flirting with it. But now I know for a fact that you've changed. And not for the better. Look at the choices you've made, the people you've been working with. It's like you're a brand new person. It was my favorite place to go after work. But I'd rarely go there since I was almost always working late. Consider it making up for lost time. Take your time, then. Only a few details. But I do. Trust me. I'll be brief. Apologies, but I must put your interests second to my needs, at least for today. I'd suggest we stop for a cheer and some bubbly, but I believe you have much better plans for our future. And I'm so glad you'll give me a chance to follow them, my friend. Onwards and forwards to a brighter future. Subsequently providing me a haphazard closure in the form of a random cemetery. subsequently providing me with the closure I've sought after all those years by finding my parents' graves.
You do, because your awareness of it only compounds my initial confusion. Ironically enough, yes. Men at some time are masters of their fates. We'll talk later.
Part of the application process for my data entry clerk position included a background check. It might reveal where my parents used to reside. Once we find out where that is, we can look up some records at their town hall. Not much. I remember my mother enjoyed the BBM. I remember my father was in some kind of union. It'd be far easier to list everything I don't remember about them. Their voices, their faces, their names. It's been a long life, my friend. That's one of my biggest fears. I've pondered it just as much as their current location. If you truly believe finding their graves is impossible, then take me to a local graveyard, so I may say my goodbyes. If I can't find their bodies, then perhaps I can find their spirits. Very well. Incorrect, but that was a rather daring try. I must say, I respect your attempts at gaining my approval, but you have lost nothing at all. Trust me. Let's get a move on then.
Very good.
Indeed. It's all right. I'm just happy to know my friend is still in there. Since when did surviving mean acting like a maniac? Maybe you're right about that, and maybe that's my fault. But still there's reason for concern. What? How dare you? I told you that because I trusted you, and you tried to use it against me. I need to go. Don't follow me. You absolute monster. No, I remember the things you've done, right? I remember them. That's just the thing. I'm not sure I can trust you anymore. Time is a finite resource. Rid yourself of all this hatred. Dress for the person you want to be, not the one you are right now. Am I? You did. But I don't remember. I appreciate your tenderness. Allow me to welcome you in, then. Thank you. I shall. Very well. This tale shall amuse you, then. I see. Well, this is such a thoughtful gift. Thank you. Huh? Did you say something? Let's change the subject. None at all. Just work acquaintances. And even then, those are quite slim, what with my extended lifespan. It's all good. Didn't have time for them anyway. No, they did. I think not. No, I know not. They did not. They did not die after the bombs fell. They died before. Your words, not mine. I know I have more luxury than your common Londoner, but that doesn't mean my struggles are any lesser. They're just of a different sort. Like comparing radioactive apples to rotten poor oranges. Of course. Thank you for listening. But don't make a huge fuss out of it. I don't have time for that. I know. I needed to share it, to fix my confusion. Your reaction was, in all honesty, secondary to my purposes. Lead the way. As if I'd rather spend my day by your side than alone. Your companionship has indubitably been a worthwhile pursuit, and that's all I have to say about that. I feel like the wind on a bright summer day, limitless, but also bored. I could ask you the same, what with your despicable recent behavior. I know, I'm flabbergasted as well, and it's my personal history. Didn't you ask me to tell you the story? You are a strange fellow indeed. What of it? Come and watch the sun set with me. I'll tell you why once we're there. I'm thinking of how swiftly Brutus dispatched Caesar. I'm thinking of my childhood bully, and how I pitied people like him, like you. I'm waiting for your sudden but inevitable betrayal. I'm cursing every breath you take. I'm calculating the shortest distance between your brain and a bullet. You thoroughly met the minimum that was required of you. Forgive my tone. I meant it purely in jest. After all, you did me a favor, and I am forever grateful for your help. You showed me the value of your partnership every step of the way. And while there were some things we could have done better, I couldn't have asked for a better partner to do them with. You became more than just a friend. You became family. I love you, my friend. Please accept these 3 gifts from the bottom of my heart. My Webley, my last Westminster salary, rightfully yours. I'll wait for you as Sancho once did for his Quixote. Toodaloo, my friend. Do see me again, won't you? I was starting to enjoy your company. I shall return to my life, and perhaps we shall cross paths once more. Perhaps some time apart will heal whatever has wounded you. I can only hope we can continue to journey together. Here, it says my parents used to live in Hackney. Yes, it rings a bell. A faint one, but a bell nonetheless. Of course, of course. As you might guess, my position as a data entry clerk and as a living remnant of London's former glory earned me some luxuries. I had a vehicle. I had a house. I was on my way to earning a respectable title, maybe even a marble bust somewhere within the offices. Until one day when my boss, a plump fellow by the name of Atkins, decided to humiliate me in front of the entire office. I stood my ground, first with my words, and then with my fist. All things considered, you didn't just accomplish my to-do list. Now, for the next item on my list. I used to have my sandwiches in that break room. God, I miss them. You valiantly convinced me to accept I would never drink Sippersons again. You went through God knows what to obtain a rare bottle of Sippersons gin. When faced with a lack of Sippersons, you bought me a beautiful bottle of gin to compensate. The strange thing is, I think you do. Of course not. You know what I'm talking about. And this will just keep happening, over and over and over. Huzzah! Let us soldier on. Would you believe I was ready to spend my life in this place? Mother? Father? Hi, it's Arthur. It's been so long since we talked. Almost 200 years. Oh yes, your son's almost thrice as old as you two were.
Just being here. It's all coming back to me. Well, not all. I don't think my brain could handle all that joy. Our cynical little world has no place for happy endings, and a part of me wanted to just embrace chaos and accept you'd never change. But you've proved me wrong. Hell, you proved everyone wrong. You are living proof that people can lose their way and change for the better. You give me hope, you do. My God. I am so glad you asked. Well, settle in, for I shall now tell you the most fascinating story in history. Now our story begins in the Dark Ages, as most great British stories do, when the Mountbattens were nothing more than a peculiar little clan of blacksmiths, specializing in the fascinatingly specific art of horse mounts. Yes, indeed. Back then, you could dedicate your entire life to a single type of work and never really face any kind of pushback from your loved ones. But I digress. Now, the Mountbattens managed to eke out an admirable life, as admirable as peasants could be in those times, and that is why they were picked to assist in a war of, well, I can't exactly recall the date, but it was one of those important wars, the kind that gets etched into history books. Well, my ancestors, who I believe were descendants of crafty little Frenchmen, they designed the horse mounts for the richest man in their particular side of this little island of ours. Of course, they did a rather poor job, which is why they were forced to go into hiding, followed by a hasty name change to the clan name we have today, the Mountbattens. Not exactly the perfect plan, because the word mount is right there. Oh, but those people spent their days frolicking around in the mud, so we can't exactly blame them for not being so forward-thinking now, can we? Well, skip ahead a few centuries, and the Mountbattens have evolved from lowly craftsmen to beloved artisans. That is to say, they made art out of metal, not that they were artists. God knows my family would not approve of anyone going into the arts. The only difference between a beggar and an artist is that a beggar doesn't make you pay to watch him panhandle. Anyway, it wasn't long before the Mountbattens realized that metalwork would soon become a rather unstable source of employment, and that's when they made the switch into more acceptable lines of work. Farmers, miners, housewives, rail workers, the sort. Skip a few hundred years of simple living and you get to the modern age. Ah, yes. Did you know my great-great-grandfather was supposed to die in one of the first great wars? At least, I think it was my great-great-grandfather. I can't recall. Well, they pegged his chance of survival at 5%, said he was meant to rot at the bottom of the trench. But the old bastard made it through. We don't really know how. That's the thing about us Mountbatten men. We have a way for surviving despite the odds being ever against our favor. I suppose that explains me. Our surprising survival rates meant that we had a head start when it came to reoccupying the workforce. And that is how you get to yours truly. Isn't that just amazing? I just couldn't help myself. Who knows, Who knows, indeed. May fortune favor your adventures, young madam. Good dog. Yes, you are. One of the really good ones. Of course. Why did I expect any different? I must really love being disappointed. Ha! I was afraid of losing you, too. You reminded me what proper fear was like that day.
And today, you remind me of what joy feels like.
No, it sounds direct, which is what you need more than anything.
Are you so incapable of empathy that you cannot take anything seriously? This isn't a bloody fucking joke anymore. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. I'm analyzing your every move, just in case. I'm secretly wishing we could just move on to a different subject. Thank you for your honesty. Don't worry, you haven't lost any value in my eyes. Hopefully they could hear me, wherever they are. Were you just staring at me that whole time? God.
It's perhaps the only certainty I have in life, apart from death and tariffs. It's all right. Oh, who am I kidding? It's not. It's terrifying.
I was what? 10? I was a little pest. And you loved me. You both did. I remember it, Da.
I remember you.
My family was middle class. We weren't poor, you see, but we also weren't rich. And living in Westminster cost quite a lot of tickets. I needed to get my foot in through the door, so I sold it for some fast cash. Not my finest moment, but I'm not ashamed of it either. Only that he suffered the same fate as me, becoming a ghoul and working the same job for 200 years, that is. His stool is still in the exact place it was before the war. It even survived the blast, the lucky bastard.
You can see where this story is going?
I wish you were there to support me, my friend. I could have used it. Well, neither could I, but that's what happened. Now it's time for the last item on my list, and this one is perhaps the most difficult to bear with. Trust me, if it ever happens, I won't be near you. I don't want you to remember me as whatever I'll become. All right, I'll wait. You've earned that much. And then you let my family's locket remain in the hands of the vicious capitalist I sold it to. You returned my family locket to its rightful owner. Tried to get some food into that poor child's mouth. He looks like a skeleton. When I met you, you were the sort of person who'd rescue a helpless ghoul. But now you've changed. It's as if I can no longer recognize the person whom I used to call friend. Is something troubling you? Please tell me there is a reason behind your recent decisions. I was immediately fired. 157 years of faithful service come to an abrupt end. After that, my former boss sued me for grievous bodily harm, claimed I had poisoned him with radiation as well. No solicitor would help me. I later found out the reason. The magistrate assigned to my case was my boss's brother. The papers declared it the fastest decision in British judicial history. The magistrate awarded his brother damages in the millions, and since I couldn't come up with the funds, all my assets were promptly seized. None would hire me for fear of both my race and reputation. I had to choose between collecting taxes or homelessness. I made the choice. And now the truth can finally breathe. I only hope our friendship can survive it. Don't say a word. I've had enough of your talking, your lying, your everything. I wish it didn't come to this, but you leave me no choice. I guess this is goodbye, old friend.
Don't come looking for me. I don't want to be found ever again.
That's correct. How did you know? Did I tell you this factoid and forget about it? Or was it dumb luck? No, don't tell me. Keep your secrets. And trust me, even if you had made an incorrect guess, I would still call you friend. But I did promise you a reward. I have given you my last salary and my Webley. What else? Oh! Here, my bowler hat. It may not seem like much, but it has kept me safe and given me great memories. Hopefully, it'll do the same for you. The message has been delivered. I suppose now all we can do is wait to see what you'll do. Oh, God, remember that time at the beach? You saved up for 2 weeks to take us there, and all I could talk about was how much I wanted that bloody new toy car. I wouldn't shut up about it. And you looked so mad, but so happy. You stumbled onto a ghoul hanging off a sign, pleading for help, and you actually helped him. That sort of gratitude isn't exactly commonplace in today's society, especially for a complete stranger. That's the source of my confusion. Why did you do it? Although the well bears my name, equal credit belongs to you. I told you that you were behaving strangely, picking a path littered with despicable choices. You told me you'd change, and for a moment I believed you. But belief means nothing without action. I'm tempted to just cut my losses, in all honesty. Please accept my trusty Webley pistol and my final Westminster salary, which I've been saving for the purposes of gifting it to you. I know it's not much, but then again, you didn't do much, so fair's fair.
I understand. I disrespected the sanctity of the workplace and must pay the price.
Now, my list isn't exactly what I'd call high art. It's 4 objectives, all of which carry a deep personal meaning. The first one is rather simple. Sooner rather than later, please. I need to know the answer. Few months back, I was dealing with an odd bout of brain fog. Thought it was stress. I was quite the dedicated worker, you see. Wanted to replace my boss. Had been working 100 years of long nights for it. I went to a doctor. Turns out it wasn't stress, but rather my brain beginning its feralization process. Soon, I was told, the fog would turn into memory loss. I'd lose my faculties, my voice, my sense of self, and one day I'd go to sleep Arthur and wake up an animal. I'm sorry. I've never told this to anyone else before. I know, and you did such a formidable job. Did you just commit a homicide? Goodbye. I love you. You helped me once, and despite all of my years, I'm still a fool who believes in change. As such, I'll leave, and pray that the good I saw within you was more than just a flicker. Goodbye. I just can't stop thinking about what I told you, or rather, what I didn't tell you, what I chose to obfuscate. My story ends with me as a common data entry clerk, yet you met me as a disgraced taxman. I never connected the dots, never told you the truth. Lying by omission is a crime, you know, and you have become a friend to me. I am not in the custom of lying to my friends, and I don't intend to start now. I only brought this up because I care for you. Still do. And I want to keep things that way. For both our sakes. I've seen that face before. We're to part ways, aren't we? This is not a bucket list. Oh, really? Try not to look so despondent again, then. No. I'm sorry, it's no laughing matter. Yes, more than anything in the world. You see, soon, my friend, soon. With that done, we move on to the next item on my list. This one requires some explanation. We should start with the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. Perhaps they'll have a clue there. Or perhaps I should find a new way to say goodbye. No, I'm fine. It was only temporary. You know how it is. You do. I'm sorry for this misunderstanding. Won't happen again. Please know I'm quite glad to have you as a friend. You know what? I'm going to let that one pass. For both our sakes. Hush now. Fine. I'll ponder it for a few more moments. I appreciate it, really. I'm certainly not opposed to that. Soft and quiet it is. Maybe you're right. I made my choice, and now I must live with it. I'll take this as a lesson for the future. I don't know. Is it? That is on purpose. You have. About us. Our future. You'll have to listen to me eventually. And this. My bowler hat. I know it's not much, but perhaps it will remind you of me, even when I am long gone. I know you're speaking the truth, but a part of me refuses to accept it. Perhaps I should lay that part to rest as well. All right. Give me one moment. You do know I only have 4 pockets in this suit, right? I see. Worth a look around, I suppose. Ever since I met you, I have seen you do so many wondrous things. Enough for me to blindly put my faith in you. But before I do this, before I abandon my quest and settle for an emotional goodbye, I must ask, are you sure they cannot be found? I was born before the bombs fell. My father and mother were middle class, a worker and a housewife. Unexceptional. I was doomed to follow in their footsteps until I chose to go to university. And after that, I joined the government as a data entry clerk at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. It's part of the reason why I survived. I was working late at the office when it all happened. Had I gone home, I'd have certainly been reduced to ash. And that's it. That's Arthur Mountbatten. Now, we're no longer strangers. All is right within the world. Whereafter, you assisted in the philanthropic venture of the century, a small well for Brickton. Whereafter, you made your way through hell to build a permanent well for the people of Brickton. Whereafter, you joined me in a philanthropic venture to temporarily bring water to Brickton and its people. Tell me, what was my family's earliest type of trade? If you know the answer, then you're not just a friend. You're family. I don't know. That's it. That's the answer. I
Don't know what to do with my life. I have no list, no employment. But I do have something better. You. My time with you has been some of the best days of my life, and the only regret I still hold within my heart is that I didn't leave Westminster any sooner. Being with you has given me a new outlook on life. I may not know what I'm going to do with it, but for the first time ever, I can't wait to find out. We have to go there. If it's where I think it is, then we're both in for a surprise. Oh, trust me, I can be quite patient, but that patience has its limits. Please, not my first time. Before I met you, I was a loner, mostly for self-protection. Whoever said there's safety in numbers was not radioactive, I'll tell you that. And as such, I've forgotten how to be a friend. But seeing you and your daring do's and your even more daring don'ts, it reminded me of something important. You deserve to know every sordid detail of my life. You've earned that much. Did you ever wonder why I decided to deck my boss across the face on a random Tuesday afternoon? I have an old workmate named Graham who went to go live there. He might be able to help us with this matter. We should find him. And of course, it isn't real philanthropy if I don't put some tickets forward, so here, most of my remaining finances. There it is. My file. Let me take a look at it. My problem is that you didn't properly warn me. I don't want to get blood on my suit. My cleaner shut down decades ago, when a nuclear bomb hit it. Next time, just aim away from me. That's all. Even now, I can't help but hope you'll say something kind. Prove that this was merely a detour. Would you rather I have gone on and on in some kind of emotional diatribe? Ever been to a funeral? Oh well, I promise you they won't be as awkward as this one. That means a lot to me. There comes a time when a man has to say no more, and I will not watch you give away your soul. I just can't. Goodbye. I'm sorry I don't remember what you looked like. I'm sorry I don't remember your names. I'm sorry for so much. But most of all, I'm sorry that one day I'll forget you. So I hope this will suffice. Until then, love. From your Arthur. We can try again. I'm a big believer of second chances. I can only hope that you'll prove that I am not mistaken in that. Except I'm not saying goodbye, but rather hello to a new day. How do you feel, now that we've finished my little to-do list? I want to at least say my proper goodbyes. What? You mean apart from helping your friend come to grips with his impending death? I suppose I could give you something in return. My Webley? My hat? I'll figure it out. I only gave you a chance. It was your actions that proved my faith in you. You don't need them, but you do deserve them. Oh, but I do. We must take our victories, especially when they are as glorious as this one. The reason I brought you here was to thank you. Think about everything you've done for me. That's just the thing. You aren't. I know myself. Do you know yourself? Ah, I thought you were ready. No matter. Take your time.
Not as if there's a ticking clock. I don't know you well enough to act. I'm enjoying a life not spent hanging upside down off a sign. I'm wondering if there's a purpose behind all of our walking to and fro. Oh, please. What am I, a hypocrite? Murder away, my friend. You wouldn't be saying that if you knew just how much this suit cost me. Now, let's get a move on. I consider myself open-minded, but even I have my limitations, and your attitude has just breached said limitations. Is this who you truly are? This disdainful fellow with no discernible moral fibre? My problem concerns your attitude, and how it's been quite displeasing to watch you march down the path to hell. The honor is mine. The honor is mine. I'm just getting started, my friend. Here's to the future. Yes, that's it. Why? Were you expecting more? Welcome to the last few months of my life. So, what say you? Ready to help me tick off each box? As it turns out, tithe collecting is not a well-paying job, and I'm saving my last salary for a special purpose, which I'll share with you later. Your friend? That has to mean something to you. Are you completely sure of that? Really? Are morals and ethics something you try on like clothing? The doctor said anywhere between a few months and a few years. They don't know enough about ghoul anatomy to be certain. You think I haven't considered it? I have often found myself contemplating the short end of a certain long barrel. As to why I didn't do it, I don't know. Or worse, I don't remember. Either way, I'm still here. I have a list of things I wanted to do once I got that managerial position. Things that I could have done at any time, but that I chose to ignore in favor of working another pointlessly long night. After my diagnosis and my firing, I thought I'd never accomplish a single thing on that list. Why bother? But now, seeing you and your actions, I want to try again. I want to complete my list. Will you help me? I'm not about to leave you. We've been through too much for me to do that. But think about what you're doing next time, won't you? I know. It's what I just said. But thank you for the corroboration. No, I know so. Yes, you did. You did so much with so little. I told you, you are my friend, and I am not in the custom of lying to friends. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I made my choice, and I've been suffering the consequences ever since. Thank you for saying that. Truly. It means the world and more to me. I'm not requesting your pity, merely your understanding. Heavens, no! I don't want that. I mean, you could probably get away with it. No! I am an English data entry clerk, and it is not in our code to go around requesting targeted assassinations. Then again, no one would mind it if No! No! I'm sorry, my friend, but I must resist your temptation. You've made yourself clear? I'll respect your true intentions from now on. Blast it. Are you sure there's no other ways for us to get it? My God, you're amazing. Thank you so much for this. Oh, this one is a fine bottle too. but I really desired a bottle of Sipperson's. Is there no way for us to get one?
Hello there. You look lovely today. I bet you'd look lovelier if I wasn't upside down. Shall we test that theory? Hello. I certainly haven't been waiting eagerly for our next conversation. Help your fellow man, won't you? You, down there, fancy lending a hand?
We've come too far for you to die from such a light wound. Take this from a walking corpse. You need to rest. If there's one thing I've gained from all my long years, it's a healthy appreciation of silence. My thoughts, whatever they are, will show themselves through my actions. And right now, dig through those pockets of yours for a stim pack, won't you?
No!
Hackney. Yes, it rings a bell. A faint one, but a bell nonetheless. Perhaps they have a records room we can peruse.
Behold, the endgame of evolution. Oh, so many skinfolds. What a cozy little place. Surprisingly light on krakens. Dear God. What is this strange place? Look at the details. English Baroque architecture is truly one of a kind. There must be an easier way to find a chem fiend. I'm all for befriending nature, but I'm not ready to give up my suit. Thank you very much. What an awful sight. I tell you, there is no worse indictment of our society than an addict. There you are. Are you all right? Let's avoid all these phone booths for now. Oh, thank God. I simply do not enjoy being in the presence of active explosives. Aim for the head. We don't want to take any chances with a vengeful target. My distaste for explosives aside, this is a rather loud way to get the job done, isn't it? You've got a bit of brown on your shirt there. Fascist prick. This is how they start, by luring over the weak and needy. God, it's happening again. Has anyone here considered that perhaps they simply lack lungs? No? Just me? Come on now. Just tell the prancing knights about the spy. Do the right thing for once. This must be my first time in Bromley. What a colourful place. We tried, we failed. Oh well. Pub. Better the enemy you know than the secretive government official you don't. I'm not sure I'm cut out to be the one thing standing between us and them. Please, cut it with the speeches and the gallivanting and just get on with it. I doubt history will look back kindly upon this day. Or upon you. We stand in front of a united London. I couldn't be prouder of you. Tell me you know what you're doing. And if you don't, just lie. Ignorance is bliss. Congratulations. Try not to let it go to your head. I wouldn't want to lose you to the wages of sin. And so I am become death, destroyer of human landmarks. I've seen quite a few people wander into that place only to never return. I wouldn't wish such a fate on you. Oh yes, let's wander into the little wooden shack in the middle of nowhere. I might as well hang a target on our backs. If I refuse to acknowledge the talking tree, maybe it will go away. I don't like this place. I don't like these people. Let's get out of here. I'd wager this place almost puts all of Westminster to shame. Almost. Such a charming locale. Perhaps the one place on earth where I won't be judged by my looks. Shudder to think that one day Big Ben will go quiet forevermore. I never considered this place to be more than an overgrown tourist attraction. Too gaudy for my tastes. If this is the true heartbeat of the city, then London might be in need of some elective heart surgery. In a few hundred years, this place might become hospitable again. I hope I'm still around to see it. This place seems dangerous. Watch my back, and I'll make sure to glance at yours every now and then. I don't believe I need a gas mask, but I'm certainly not about to pass on one. I pray this stench doesn't cling onto our clothes. What are you dawdling about for? Get to it! Home sweet home. As far as tours go, that was subpar. I could have given you one for half the price. Whoever's behind this has no regard for the sanctity of public transportation. I wish I could be of help. Turns out the one thing the gentry hate more than the poor are public servants, a darling category to which I belong. Anyone who names their gang after themselves is no friend of mine. Any leader who achieves power through a snap election deserves my respect. Ah! Oh, those are our explosives. Ah, phew. What a shock. Did you stop to ask the strange shadow government their policy on ghouls? No? Oh well. I'm not sure I quite like our new strange bedfellows. They seem, what's the word, viciously evil? Please tell me we're not bringing the giant crab into our little group. There's nothing I love more than kicking a fascist in the arse. This may not be Avalon, but it is here that Arthur will take his final rest. I must admit, I'm not exactly interested in grown men who've decided to dress up as medieval knights. So many better things to do with your free time. I quite like this revolutionary bent you're on. By all means, please continue. What a grim business is war. Are we really willing to ship all these people to death? My God, what is it with you and explosions? Is this a fetish of some kind? I believe you made the right choice. The vagabonds seem like good people. Bloody, rude, and oh so uncouth, but good. I'm happy for you, but please don't start dressing like them. It's not a moral issue. I just can't abide by their dreadful fashion sense. Please, tell me we're not bursting through the front door. Are we sure this is the correct back to plunge our knife into? Diplomacy is a fine, if unreliable weapon. I hope you know how to wield it. I'd vote for him. I wouldn't tell anyone, but I'd vote for him. I wonder what you can afford with those 30 pieces of silver. The less blood spilt, the better. There's something worth saving here. One death has brought us peace. I just wish it wasn't Gaunt. I almost admired his refusal to capitulate. How long do you think the Syndicate will keep their word? I know how fickle the morals of the gentry adjacent can be. Somewhere, 1,000 psychiatrists just woke up in a cold sweat. Stay close to me. I don't want to stab you accidentally. Oh, good. Even more of you. Pay attention, everyone. Our wayfarer is the good-looking one. This is it. This is the day you've been dreaming of. Now go and give them hell. I have just made quite a hefty sum betting on you. Tickets well spent. All this walking is making me miss the goddamn tube. Let's make this quick. We don't want Jane to suffer more than she already has. Apart from poetry, cinema, literature, music, Gothic art, architecture, cuisine, vaudeville, cabaret, philosophy, and cheese. What have the French ever done for us? We sail the ocean blue, and our saucy ship's a beauty. We're sober men and true, and attentive to our duty. You know, I once had aspirations of being an actor, but then I realized I couldn't be bothered to remember all the lines. I remember when this thing was built. Strange thing is, why? I can't recall why it was built. If you see anything crawling, don't think about it and just kill it. The Bank of England. Reminds me of my old friend, the pound sterling. This place might as well be a monument to mankind's past follies. Must we perambulate through these dreadful laboratories? I bet this place has quite the story. Unfortunately, I'm not interested in it. Have any of these people actually read Thomas Mallory's original work? There's something charming about the vagabonds. It takes courage to stand up against oppression whilst wearing those awful clothes. Where else on the planet can you find a castle amidst the wasteland? Only in London. Fancy a game, friend? I consider myself quite capable with a bet. Watch what you touch. This place can be quite shocking. Do we really have to use the side entrance? There has to be a much more presentable way in. The trick is to look like you belong. Don't gasp and gawk at the gate. Most cannibals don't go for rotten radioactive meat. So I have that going for me, which is nice. Can you imagine the view from up there? I can't, and I don't want to. Oh, I loathe heights. I never liked this thing. Too modern, too sharp, too ugly. Call me old-fashioned, but I prefer the old London. Even an unfaithful old sod like me can't help but feel a strange warmth when I see this place. You call it faith, I call it appreciating the architecture. Is this the headquarters of the BBM? Oh, good. I have so many listener complaints I need to file.